Hello, it's Gabby here for you. Before we jump onto this week's podcast, I just want to let you know about 2 ways that you can work with me. First of all, I do one-to-one coaching and I do that via Zoom, so we can jump on a Zoom call at a time to suit you. The second thing I've got for you is an online coaching course that's 12 modules that you can download straight away now. There will be a link somewhere around these podcast notes. And this is the course that I've designed, and it's got everything in it that I wish I'd have known when I finished cancer treatment and I was lost. So you can download that course now and you can start working towards making this your happiest and healthiest year ever. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello there, it's Gabby here for you, and I hope this finds you well. I am feeling very well this week, very blessed, because I am celebrating 17 years now as a cancer survivor. And I feel very blessed, very lucky to be able to say that I've got to 17 years. I'm going to reflect a little bit on the lessons that I've learnt. And also, I just want to leave you at the end of this podcast with some really wise words that I got from a good friend who was going through a tough time, and she's given me some good advice I want to share with you because I found it personally very helpful, and I think it might help you as well. So first of all, just reflecting on 17 years as a cancer survivor. Wow, when I look back on that time now, I remember how alone I felt and how terribly frightened I was of the diagnosis of inflammatory breast cancer, which prognosis wasn't good, and the recurrence rate was really high. But that kind of spurred me on, the hidden gift within that. And I hate when people say cancer is a gift, because it's really not. If you think cancer is a gift, then I'm sorry, you're not welcome at my birthday party. But the lessons that any tough time in your life can give you can be a gift. And I worked with a spiritual coach, and she said to me about some struggles that I was having. If you don't learn the lesson from a tough time, life has a way of keep showing you challenges until you get that lesson, until you learn it and you move on. And I think, I'm 62 this year. And I think for me, the secret of staying well and staying hopefully fit and healthy is staying interested in life and constantly learning. And I constantly want to be learning. And if I hadn't have had my cancer diagnosis, I wouldn't have studied nutrition probably. I wouldn't have done a lot of the work that I've done now. I wouldn't have met so many wonderful people that I've met. And working as a coach, it's really spurred me on to learn everything I can about well-being, how to look after yourself. It's given me a lot more compassion, I think, for other cancer survivors, and I can really relate to the journey that they're going through. I hesitate before saying I know what people are going through, because nobody knows what anybody else is going through, but you can have compassion, you can have empathy, you can understand. So I always celebrate my cancer anniversary every January. It can be a bit of a bleak month with a little gift to myself. I haven't bought myself anything yet. And it was very interesting. I try really hard not to have judgment for other people, but I was in a Facebook group before Christmas, and somebody in that group was complaining about her husband always buying her rubbish Christmas gifts. And I thought, that's interesting. Why don't you ask him for what you want? My first thought. And then my second thought was, if you really want something, why don't you get it for yourself? And that is one of the lessons I've learned from my cancer diagnosis, is nobody's going to save you, my love. That's the harsh truth of life, but you can save yourself. What a time to be alive, because there's so much information just at your fingertips on the internet that you can find out pretty much anything that you want to learn about. So nobody's going to save you is the bad news, but that's also the good news, because you really can become your own hero. And that's what I've fought so hard to do, and quite relaxing into that now. Now, as time goes on, it does get easier. So anybody that's listening to this with a cancer diagnosis, my heart goes out to you, my love. But I will say it gets easier as time goes on. It really does. The more that you can put that thing that happened to you, as one of my clients calls it, in the past. She doesn't like to use the C word. Put that thing that happened to you in the past and move on. So I talked before about, the new year, looking forward to the year ahead, and what does it mean for you? And the word that I've chosen for myself this year is abundance. And when I talk about abundance, I'm not always just thinking about, I want to have a lot of money in the bank. I'm not thinking about that at all. I'm thinking, I want this year an abundance of joy, an abundance of love, an abundance of new experiences. And there's things that I want to do this year, places I want to go. I've already booked some event, I love my live music. I've already booked some of that already. I've already booked some holidays. And I want to do more and more stuff. One of the things I think I'd love to do this year is I love Manchester, my hometown, even though the weather's not always the best. I've never done a tour of Manchester. And there are now walking tours that you can do. And there's also, an open top bus tour that you can do. And I think nothing of doing that when we're away in a new country or a new city. But I'm going to do that in my hometown and maybe learn something about the place that I live. So there's always things that you can learn. And I said before, I'm going to share some good advice that my friend gave me. And my dear friend was going through a really awful time with a family situation that couldn't be resolved. And she'd absolutely broken her heart over this situation. And so many people that I know are going through similar things. And what she said to me is this thing has become it's taken over her life. It's become bigger and bigger in her life. And what she needed to do, there was a time when she needed to nurture herself. And that's advice I always give to people. If you're going through a tough time, is to nurture yourself, treat yourself like a small child, wrap yourself in a blanket if you need to, sleep, have hot baths, have nice warm nourishing soup or nourishing food, look after yourself like you would for a small child. But that is okay for a short period of time. But when you're ready to move forward, this piece of advice that this lady gave me is so wise, because this big problem that she had, she said she's going to make it now into a smaller problem. And the only way that she can do that and get some real perspective on it is to think about the things in her life that give her joy and make more of those. So for me, it's like more experiences, more travel, more whatever it is that gives you joy. If you like to sing, join a choir. If you like to dance, join a dance class. If you like to travel, book some trips, whatever it is you want to do, just do more of that. Make it bigger and bigger, a bigger part of your life. And so whatever problem you have, especially if it's a problem that can't be resolved, there's nothing you can do about it, to put it in its place, to put it into perspective, make the good parts of your life bigger and brighter and better. And we can all do that with just a bit of planning and a bit of focus on that. That's something that we can all do. And if you need any help with any of that, please get in touch with me. I'd love to hear from you. And, I feel so blessed. I have learned now how to do a podcast, and I've started a YouTube channel. And I love it when people get in touch with me and say, oh, I listened to your podcast and that thing that you said, I'm really interested in that. Please get in touch with me about anything. If you just want to have a chat, if I can help you with anything, it means the world to me. It means what I do. I'm not just sat in my little office in my house here and talking to myself. It means a lot if I can connect with you. It really does. It helps make sense of what I've been through. And so that's the gift that was within my cancer diagnosis. Cancer wasn't a gift. I'm not having that. I'm not ready to accept that at all. But the lessons that I've learned, the way that I've changed my lifestyle, the things that I've learned about nutrition, about healthy habits, about relaxation, rituals that I have now for self-care. I talk about self-care a lot because especially women find that quite often, especially if you get older and you're busy, that goes down the list of priorities, looking after yourself. And it's easy to forget. And that's why somewhere around these podcast notes will be a link to my handy reminders. There's 30 reminders of just little things that you can do for your own self-care. So just click on the link and download it. It's my gift to you. I just want to share some tips with you of things that have worked for me, things that have worked for other people. And as always, self-love is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned. And, I'm a big fan of Louise Hay. I'd really recommend her books. If you've never read Louise Hay's books, they are amazing. Sadly, that lady's no longer with us, but she started a publishing company when, I think she was in her 60s because nobody would publish her book. And she's a real inspiration to me. And her words are so wise. But at the root of what she talks about, a lot of it is about self-love and the fact that you can do anything. You can overcome any trauma or problem in your life. But it starts with self-love. It starts with caring for yourself and giving yourself the respect sometimes that you give so freely to other people. So I want to just finish by saying thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for you connecting with me. It absolutely means the world to me. I am surrounded by love. I've got my husband, I've got close family and friends that care for me. And I'm very, very blessed to be here, proudly saying I'm a 17-year survivor, and touch wood, hoping for many more happy and healthy years ahead. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not just hoping, I am planning for it. I'm putting things in place. And as always, I would urge you to stay safe and stay sane. Look after yourself, my darling. Take care. Speak soon. Bye-bye.